Welcome to this broadcast out of Fellowmind, Copenhagen, where we have our number 3 out of 3 broadcast around master data and why it is so important to have quality, not once you have cleaned it, but have a service that secures your quality of master data. And we have been through why that is important, etc., in the previous sessions, the 7th and the 14th. So today we will go very deep on how do you actually do it. So with me online is again Thomas Drachmann out of Northern Jutland in Denmark, who will present how we do it. And Thomas, a few words on yourself.
Working in Dun Bradstreet Bisnode for a little more than 8 years, and I am working with connectors for ERP and CRM systems. I have been working with that all the time, so that's a presentation of me.
Yes, and very shortly about Dun Bradstreet, the reason for that we have Dun's numbers, and you're running almost 500, not thousands, but 500 million accounts on a daily basis and updating their master data to leverage across the users and customers you have. Therefore, it's important for us to have you on board, and we have speeded up our strategic work, and we'll come back to the reason why, but the code word is connected company. But very shortly about Dun Bradstreet, you are situated around the globe, almost 250 countries, and you run master data and the data blocks as a service, and have made connectors to the Dynamics 365 business applications from Microsoft. That's why we are here. How does it work? That's what we're going to look at. My name is Michael, and I work across our workload from Fellowmind. We cover the entire Microsoft suite in 6 countries and 40 locations. And my colleagues go very deep on the technology. So that's who we are. Back to the connected company. So actually, connected company is something that has been on the table across industries, but now we can do it thoroughly. We see the societies are connected, and therefore it gives the need for your company to be connected with your customers, have the right data, be connected with your supply chain and your stakeholders. And that's the reason why we actually end up with a truly holistic approach to this. And in the end of this broadcast, we'll also stretch how do we get a plan for being connected further. There is not a company or an industry that has not digged into being connected, but having the 360 degree and making the prioritized plan that has come to the table, the ones who does it best will lead their industry with an edge even more. And behind the scenes to get connected, because Microsoft delivers the entire connected functionality in the business applications and within the modern work that is connected, so you have a seamless digital workplace. That's what we deliver out of Fellowmind. And behind that, in the motor, we see data flow. Microsoft has done the largest investment in this, so that your customers truly can be connected, your stakeholders, and so that you can react and pro-react on your services, installations in the markets, etc., etc. No surprise, and so that your people are fully empowered to take the role they are supposed to take, and your stakeholders as well, being part of your data ecosystem. Very normal across industries, manufacturers, etc. So the listeners can now, and we actually have interesting listeners from across industries and roles on this one as well, now see why it's so important that though you have the motor, we simply need to have the truly qualified data to be put in this system that I'm showing. And the reason is that we are run on the same database, and the data feeds need to be totally qualified, and that's what Dun Bradstreet is giving us, so that our sales and our customer service and the marketing, etc., finance operations, they got the right data for their function, and it's part of the ecosystem of data that you leverage in your market and what you do. Very shortly speaking, Thomas, this we went through the first two broadcasts, but today we will dig into a demo by you. And I have been through it many times with you. And I would like listeners to ask questions on the way, but we will get back to you if we don't have time. We'll get back to the questions. I can see them if you write anybody. But take notice of all the good stuff, and I think we should hit the road and actually give the word to you, Thomas.
Yes, thank you. And we would look into the demo of the optimizer today, the Dun Bradstreet optimizer for Microsoft. And it's a simple implementation we run on this optimizer. It's not a big IT project as we talked about last time. It's important that for you that it is simple. It's an app, as you can see from my screen here. That you can download from the Microsoft App Source. And you can, on this page, see a lot more about the solution. And if you want to see an installation guide, you can also find it in here.
And in that way, Thomas, it is what is called it's evergreen. Whatever comes from Microsoft will be reflected in your service because it's an app on App Source. Can you put it that way?
Yeah, you can put it that way. Yeah. We will do the updates if there will be any changes from Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. And when you have bought this one, it is you can say just installing it. But we always recommend that we start with doing a data cleanse. We have talked about data cleanse in both the first and second broadcast. Yes. We have in this series, and the data cleanses where we get all your data into us, we match it against our database and enrich with the DUNS number, which is a unique ID from Dun Bradstreet. We built a couple of several years ago, which is the unique identifier for all companies in our database. And as you said, we have almost 500 million, more than 480 million records in the system. So we have more than 480 DUNS numbers, 480 million DUNS numbers in our database.
Yes.
So we always start with that. And we said it was simple implementation. So when you have to install it, you download from here. Then you, after installing it, will have a new entity in your system in your advanced settings, where you can see here we have the entity with different points here. So I go into the company mapping, and what I will show you now is how simple it is to map this and make it up running.
Yes.
We have the field mapping here, the account match, and account update, and you do exactly the same on leads.
Yes.
But if we look into the account match first, then we have the fields down here. Here you can see which fields would be used for matching. And we want at least a business name and a country to match. And what you have to do is just to say, okay, if DNB wants, optimizer wants a name for matching, where should we find that in your CRM system? In its account name normally.
Yes.
And the country, it's normally address line 1, country. So if we have these information, then we can come back to that. But as you can see here, it's simple mapping just to say the information that we want to match, where do we find that in your CRM system?
Yes. And I know it's 5, 10, 15 minutes work to do, because even though you have changed the wording of your fields, you still can go through and match it, right? So
yeah.
Sounds scary, but we are less than half an hour work typically. Yeah,
exactly. And it's also if this is a text field, then it only shows text fields over here. So you will not take an integer field and the text field and have some errors there. So yes. It is a simple mapping.
Yes.
And then we have the account update. So, I show and explain more about it later, but again, just to see that on the account update, you can decide to have more information about the companies. We have up to 100 fields in this optimizer. And you can decide which of these fields do you want to have into your own account in the system. All the data would be available. I'll show you that later in the demo. But here you can decide which data do you want to have into your own system. And again, it's simple mapping. The account name, where do we find that? In our database, yes. Here it's the opposite way of we saw it before. So business name to account name, address as primary address city to address city, and so on.
And annual revenue,
and annual revenue and so on. Yeah. So it's not difficult, and as you said, I will guess 10 to 15 minutes, then you're up running with this mapping. What you also have to decide, as you can see here, is that you can decide if DNB Optimizer always may override the information in the account name, or if we only may do it if it's blank. So if you have
Well, we will have Thomas put on again. We just lost the connection. He is the corresponding from outer space, from real life. So that happens sometimes, even in the Western world. So I think
I'm back again. Sorry for that.
No problem. But the right side is important, as you just mentioned, Thomas, in order to decide, okay, is this gonna run overnight and update this type of data or not? So that's an important questions to align on in the group of people at your organization that needs to decide how much do we want automatically updated. And so I think it's important to notice the right side of this setup.
It is important too, yes. And we also, as we say here, strongly recommend that you enable auditing, so you always can see who has made the changes in the system.
Yes.
So back to the account match, because what do we mean by account match? And what we mean is that we take the information. If you, for example, have an account, an Excel sheet that you import to the system, then you will not get the DUNS number, which is the unique ID in this situation in our system here. Then you do not have the DUNS number.
Yes.
Then the optimizer will try to see how many of these information do I have. It will make a search down to our API.
Yes.
And look if it could find a match on these information. And if it could find a match, it would put in the DUNS number, enrich with the DUNS number. After enriching with the DUNS number, it would look into the account update, and then it would update and enrich with the data that you have decided to enrich with in this tab.
And this is important because though you're running the service, you might have some imports from Excel sheets, Thomas, or something else, right? That has not been through the service. But here you can simply go through one by one, or have your sellers look at every account, and it's just on a plate. You don't have to do anything but say yes or no to what you're seeing on the screen. Important?
Yes, important. Yes, it is. So we said it was a simple implementation. It was to download the solution file and then make these changes, and there will be a little bit of maybe having some new fields, making some new fields and putting some new fields into your account form.
Yes.
But it is not that much work for installation. Not a big IT project. It normally a CRM administrator that can do this.
Yes.
So this is what I will say about the setup. Now I will make a demo. I'll show you how to create an account and how to match an account, and talk a little bit about the data and how you can use the data in the system.
Nice. And Thomas, just for those who may not be used to the best UI in the world within business applications, namely the Microsoft, we are in the Dynamics. The
We
Dynamics
are in the
365.
Dynamics.
So it's
Yeah.
simply a plugin, as you said, from AppSource. Go ahead.
Yes, exactly. And as you can see here, we have made our own app to show our data, but of course you make your app and use the Sales Hub or what you use, and then you can take some of our features and put into your own app. But this is just to show you how we have set it up. I could try here to look for a company called Rock Armor to see if I have it in my system. I do not have it in the system today. So normally a user will now go to the new button, start typing in the information, and have the right try to spell in the correct way to the name, and is it an what kind of company is it? What is the address? Maybe go to another tab and look into to see if we have any information from a web page or something like that. But instead, we can use this or this create button instead. And if I do it, as you can see here, we call it search before create.
Yes.
So I will now try to search for Rock Armor. And in this case, I just type rock in here. And what I do now is that I search down into our DNB API database with, again, more than 480 million companies. And I search for rock, and of course there's a lot of companies call something with rock, so it only shows 50 at a time. But what you can see here is you can see the business name, you can see our DUNS number, the unique identifier, you have an URL, a primary address, industry code, and you can see what kind of location it is. Is it a single location? Is it a parent? Is it a branch, or what is it? But in this case, I didn't find the Rock Armor if I look here. So I can narrow down, for example, on country, where I look, I know it's from Sweden. So I can see that's 252 hits in Sweden that is called something with rock.
Yes.
So now I take it in here. So now we can see we still have 50, but we know there are still 202 behind this. But in this case, I found the Rock Armor trading. This one means that this company is already created in my CRM system.
Okay, the blue color.
The blue blue color here, the blue icon here, I can see it, and I can also see there's a hyperlink. So it means it's already in the system, and it is the once, because they say once here. If there was a two, then it was twice, and so on.
Okay.
But what I would do now is I would create this Rock Armor trading. So I just click on create, and from the match form we had before, we have told the system which data should we pre-fill into the quick create form.
Yes.
So I just have to say save, and now we create the account.
Nice.
You can see we have the information. We also have a website in here. We have the DUNS number. We can see the address and so on here. And when, as I said before, when we do a match, it's also when we do a creation of a new account, we would there would be a new step where we will enrich with all the other information from the account update tab.
Yes.
So if I refresh the data here, then we should see, if we are lucky, and we are not that today. That's always when we make a demo, it won't here. Now we're here. Now we can see we get a company profile ID.
Here we are. Yeah.
And we can see if we go, we have to do a little more update. Now the DNB information here, that's the information I decided in the account update in my accounts.
Yes.
So I can see that 165 corporate family members.
A big enterprise, probably.
A big enterprise, yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see who is the domestic ultimate parent.
Yes.
The highest in the hierarchy, it's themselves in this case.
Yes.
Who is the global ultimate? Okay, it's Per Oslo Holding.
Globally,
it was
yes.
it is a whole different name.
Yes.
So that was maybe surprising. And I can see that the direct parent is Per Oslo.
The one next upwards in the hierarchy.
Yeah, the
Yes.
first upwards in the hierarchy.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Thank you.
And then we have the NACE code here, the industry code here, where we can see both the code and the description of the code.
Yes.
We have different industry codes that you can decide to have into the system.
Great.
And then a very important one, you can see the out of business indicator. It's active, so the company here is active. But
yes.
if it would change to bankrupt or has been merged to another company or something like that, then it would say out of business indicator will say out of business.
Yeah.
So you can make a flow in the system or have Fellowmind helping you to make a flow in the system that find the accounts that changes from active to out of business. So you ensure that if you have any pipelines for the future or have a subscription or something like that, you can look into that, or unpaid bills, for example.
Yeah.
So that's how you can use the data in the system. And if we look into this company profile ID,
yes,
this is where I told you, and when we were talking about the mapping, I told you that you can decide which data do you want to have into the system, but you can still see all 100 fields that we have, up to 100 fields we have of information on the account. So I go to a custom object called DNB business profile, where I can see all the information.
Yes.
Yes. And I can see, for example, the national identification number. You can see here. We can again see that it's active. It's not out of business. I can see some statistics about how many employees. I can see the location, the address. I can see the industry code, as I talked about before. And then I can see the corporate linkage again here. Yeah. I showed it on the account form, but if you do not want to show it on the account form, you can still see the information here.
Yeah.
And what is good with this DNB business profile is that it's a custom object. It means it's data in your CRM system.
Yes.
So even you haven't imported it to your own account form, it's still searchable in advanced search, for example.
Yes, and that's a good thing about Dynamics. You can use it searches across.
Yes, exactly. And what I will show you here is that I will use this data because I can see it's Rock Armor Trading and it's Per Oslo Holding, who is the global ultimate. Now I want to see, is there any other companies in my CRM system that is a part of this family tree who also have Per Oslo Holding as a global ultimate?
Understand.
So I have made an advanced search, as you can see here, where I have looked into the DNB business profile. I only want to look at companies that are active in CRM system. And then I want to see which companies do have Per Oslo Holding, this is the DUNS number of Per Oslo Holding, as the global ultimate. So if I click on results, I can see that I have several companies in my CRM system that has Per Oslo Holding as the global ultimate company. So all these companies is a part of the same family tree, one of the 165 family members we saw before. Yes. I can also see who is the domestic parent, who is the direct parent, and if it was a branch as the last one here, I can see that the headquarter is the name of the headquarter here.
Are you switching screen, Thomas? Because it's not switching on our screen.
Is it not switching? No. Don't you see the advanced search?
No, it stayed on the same page. Maybe you can do it again.
How about now?
Yes.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Sorry for that.
Here we are.
Technical problems. Yep. Yes. But here you can see we have several.
Yes. Thank you.
Several accounts in my CRM system that is the part of Per Oslo Holding.
Yes.
Yes. So that's how to look into the data and use the data to get more information about your customers. To look into if we have any other companies that we already are making deals with, contracts with, that is a part of the same family tree.
Yes.
Yes. And I think I have to do this again. We go back here.
And that's important for making plans and deciding are we gonna import, say yes to some of these that we didn't know about or that we knew about, but we don't have the master data
Exactly.
for the host company. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And now I will show you how we can do the match.
Yes.
So in this case now I use the normal new button. So I search for Virkotech Kirkebjerg, and as we saw in the setup, we need a company name and a country. So I say DK in this one, and in this case I just if we have this information here. So I just say save. What is happening now is that the transactional matching starts. So it tried to match the Vicotech Kirkebjerg and the DK down to our DNB database. And now it's hopefully you can see it has already been matched.
Yeah.
So now I got a lot of more information into the system here.
Great. Yeah.
And if we go back to just to share the other one here again, and I make an update on this one, refresh here, then we can see that Vicotech Kirkebjerg also is a part of Per Oslo Holding.
Great.
So now it's also a part of this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now we have seen how to create an account.
Yes.
We have seen how to match, how the match function works. So you can get a DUNS number into that one.
Yes.
Then sometimes the match maybe won't match that because there's no country, because it's spelled wrong, or there's too many matches.
Yes.
Then we have the unmatched accounts here. That means that we have, if I search here for Fellowmind, a company we all know, and I can see, okay, it was the Fellowmind Germany, GmbH, and it was in Germany. Then I can say this is an unmatched. It means that it hasn't got a DUNS number. It hasn't been matched. So if I make the match here, then we can see if we can match the account. Now we can see it's matched. It has got the information here, the company profile here.
Yeah, great.
So that's how you can treat the unmatched afterwards. So you can say the data cleanse was the first half of the match, and the second half of the match is the unmatched, where you have to look into that.
And in this way, you can ask your sellers or your colleagues to say, this is the bulk that you need to match, because based on the data mapping, you need to, and it tells you which data are missing. So it is actually how you get it done. Many try to update their master data, but they don't really get it done. But the unmatched function actually helps you go through what is the reason it's not unmatched. The system here, the plugin, tells you what specific field it is. So you have no excuse not to get it in place.
Exactly.
Sorry to be harsh.
Yeah, but
we are running down to the last 2-3 minutes.
Yes, I can see that, and we saw that it was 165 family members in this family tree, and then you also can have a solution called DNB Hoovers that is connected into the CRM system, where you can see the information about the company in our Hoovers, which is a target group search prospect tool. And we can see that we have corporate linkage. And if we click on the link here, we will open up and see the whole family tree of Per Oslo.
Great. Interesting.
So
Quite
here you can see it.
Yeah.
And if you want to create them, you can just click on one of them, say send to CRM, and then they will be sent to CRM. And it also uses the
that's
DUNS
what a lot
number.
of sellers are missing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
So it is easy to do.
Awesome. And you can even boost up your go-to-market with the accounts you didn't know, and take on the Hoover login.
Exactly. Yeah. We can another time show you more about the Hoovers, how to search for companies on industry codes, on countries, on web content or something like that.
Yes.
But we do not have the time today.
I think we got more than an idea, and I think everybody listening in has his or her take on why is it important. Is it important to do new business? Is it important to raise the quality of your customer engagement? Yes, it is. Or is it important to whatever target you have? But data has to be in the right quality, and that's why we are talking about connected companies. And please look into the Fellowmind communication in the market on our website and the broadcast, etc. On what do we mean by connected company? We do mean have data in place and execute on them so that you end up empower your employees, get connected to your customers, and run your operations supply chain and hit your targets on your environmental goals, etc., etc. Finally, thank you for listening. Don't get confused, as one of my former colleagues said at Microsoft, and don't get confused because there are a lot of things to choose from. So get an assessment. How connected are we? How are we doing on data? And then get a plan on board. And that's what we do at Fellowmind. And put in also Dun Bradstreet to get you accelerated on a plan. And don't hesitate to contact us to get the facts and get a reliable plan on how to get connected. I guess that's it because we are over time. Look at these recordings, 7th, the 14th, and the 21st of September recordings on our Facebook, on YouTube channel. Don't hesitate to contact Thomas or I. Thank you for staying that extra minute. I'm sorry to say data is king. Thank you for today.
Thank you.